Cons is all it took for a Ukrainian sea drone to change aerial warfare forever with a missile that cost less than a Launseningen Toyota Corolla. At Lingsanyao Wuxiaoshi hours, a MAGURA sea drone call sign Alpha Ibaishi email lyses through the surface of the Black Sea, maintaining just CN of freeboard as it cruises at Senshijot knots. No navigation lights are on as it makes a barely visible wake in the darkness. Shishigoni south of Odessa Alpha Yoyoyal enters Gridbox Blackbird Wu. The drone's electric motors emit only a low hum that dissolves instantly into the ambient noise of wind and water as it slackens speeds and awaits its prey. Inside a nondescript command van near Och, more than Ibaim away, two operators hunch over glowing displays. Hands wrapped around steaming coffee mugs, they monitor the thermal and electrical feeds with practiced vigilance. The FLIR screen shows nothing but cold waves and the distant heat signature of a Romanian oil rig. Then a flicker. One heat plume materializes at the edge of the screen. Then another. Both airborne, both information. By Dinxiao Lianxiao Shuars, the thermal signatures resolve into clearly defined shapes. Two fast movers running a north-south track at low altitude. The silhouettes are unmistakable. Su-CS performing what has become a standard Russian Navy drone hunting pattern. One peels away from formation, banking toward Alpha Yoyoyal's position. The drone software reacts instantly. It throttles back to Shiba knots. Its hull settles lower, mimicking wave patterns. Its thermal signature merges with the ambient water temperature, making it indistinguishable from the waves around it. The Su-T drops altitude, searching for drones like this. The aircraft's thermal sensor beneath its nose detects something, perhaps a wave reflection, perhaps something more. The operator whispers. He has got to get a visual. His fingertip hovers over the screen, then taps a command. Alpha Yoyoyo's targeting mass rises silently from its housing. Mounted amidships, secured to a stabilized platform, sits a repurposed Manpads launcher primed for action. The Su-T begins a slow port turn, its engine exhaust now fully exposed to the sea below. Time to find out if this unprecedented gamble pays off. If you look at the central section of the drone, you'll notice this slender retractable stock rising from just behind the forward communications array. That is the MAGURA V5's electro-optical targeting mast, and it is a specialized maritime surveillance and targeting system designed for extreme low-profile engagements from wavelet platforms. Inside this waterproof housing are three integrated sensors, a daylight camera, a long-wave infrared detector, and a precision laser rangefinder. The mast extends to a maximum height of EDR Army above the deck, providing an optimal height for targeting aerial threats while minimizing its profile. The system's integrated laser rangefinder achieves accuracy within Ardarn semi at distances up to Wugoni, while the thermal optic can detect engine plumes from fighterized aircraft at Sendar Igoni even through maritime haze. This capability is precisely what allows the MAGURA to acquire, track, and develop firing solutions against aerial targets, without betraying its position through active radar emissions. At Lingsiyalo hours, the Su Qigongqing NGS against the Prejan Don sky Ider Bagoni away, its dark silhouette occasionally disappearing into the clouds above. The fighter descends in a shallow arc, maintaining what pilots call visual recon posture, slow enough to spot anomalies, fast enough to evade most ground fire. The flinker's twin engines push it along at just under 70 knots. The pilot banking left to position for a broadside pass of the suspected contact area. Inside the command van, the atmosphere is tense. The operators breathe shallowly, muscles tensed as they watch the tactical display. A targeting reticle wavers, then locks center frame on the approaching aircraft. The lead operator toggles the laser rangefinder, a brief invisible pulse that bounces off the target and returns. The display flashes Ider Ilbagoni. The mast compensates automatically for a sudden wave that rocks the drone platform. Its gyroscopic mount making micro-adjustments whoosh times per second. No one speaks. The only sounds are cooling fans and the soft click of control inputs. Mounted on Alpha Yoyoyal's reinforced center deck sits a Ukrainian-modified Jokai Senshaba. Known to NATO as the Saba Grouse, the Soviet-era Manpads rests in a custom-fabricated cradle with autocorrecting stabilizers to compensate for sea motion. The weapon was never designed for maritime platforms, but engineering adaptations and a lot of ingenuity have made it possible. With the jet almost overtop the drone, the operators make the call. Fire 1. The launch sequence initiates with a percussive thump that shudders through the drone's composite hull. Flame erupts from the missile's motor, briefly illuminating the surrounding water in harsh orange light. The Eagle leaps skyward with a piercing shriek, trailing sparks and smoke. Alpha Yoyoyal rocks violently from the recoil, its speed dropping as it absorbs the blast. Inside the Suchi's cockpit, warning indicators suddenly scream to life with a missile-lock tone blaring through the pilot's headset. His hand instinctively slaps the countermeasures panel, ejecting twin bursts of magnesium flares that bloom behind the aircraft. But he is slow and caught in the middle of a turn. He slams the throttles forward and banks hard, but it is not enough. The missile has acquired his engine heat signature and closes fast. At precisely 19 hours and Shi Mouse econs, Nyushabagoni south of Odessa, the Eagle's proximity fuse detects the plane's position and detonates. Shrapnel penetrates the Suchi's starboard engine, igniting fuel and shredding control surfaces. The fighter convulses in mid-air, flame erupting from its rear fuselage. The pilot pulls the ejection handle, rocketing clear of the doomed aircraft seconds before it begins its terminal dive. The Eagle's compact design and heat-seeking guidance allowed for a reliable off-jan platform engagement despite seat movement and mounting instability. Its Ardar-Wumiaus econ lock and fire cycle lets the operator exploit the Suchi's low-jan speed turn, forcing the jet into an unreoverable situation before it could climb or accelerate. Without the drone's stabilized ELA mount, even a confirmed lock wouldn't translate to a clean shot. But although it was a good hit, it would mean nothing without reliable real-jan time communication. At 19 hours, less than Nyushimaus econs after missile impact, Alpha Yaoyao's camera captures the Suchi's final moments. The thermal feed shows the aircraft trailing a bright plume of burning fuel with its airframe disintegrating as it arcs toward the sea. The pilot appears as a small, dark figure suddenly separated from the aircraft, followed by the mushroom shape of a deploying parachute that blossoms against the pre-Jan dawn sky. Inside the command van, sweat beads on the operator's foreheads despite the cool air. The primary screen trembles slightly as shock waves from the explosion reach the drone and ripple through its hull. Hit confirmed. We got him. One operator breathes, voice barely audible. His knuckles whiten as he grips the edge of the console. No celebration erupts. Every person in that van understands the implications of what comes next. Every Russian asset in the Black Sea is now converging on this position with extreme prejudice. Alpha Yibayishi software initiates an emergency evasion. The drone lunges forward, accelerating back to maximum speed. It lowers itself into the water until it is barely skimming the wavetops, its hull occasionally slapping against the surface as it cuts eastward toward grid box Echo 2. The transmission mast remains elevated, pumping a continuous stream of information, navigation data, video feeds, and targeting logs back to the higher headquarters in Kyiv. The tactical display suddenly illuminates with new contacts. Two rotary wing signatures appear Shuugoni out, closing fast. The distinct blade signature identifies a car alligator, likely scrambled from its patrol station near occupied Korean waters. Alpha Yibayishi Igon Team S expended its only weapon. Now it is running only on battery reserves and a prayer. Inside the command van, the primary data link stutters, the screen flickering between a clear feed and pixelated noise. The secondary operator's fingers dance across his console, adjusting gain on the Starlink uplink panel, comm links degrading. He reports, his voice tight. Alligator must be running jammers. The drone continues transmitting, but signal integrity is failing. One sustained dropout could mean losing the entire mission feed, including verification of the Suchi downing. Without that proof, Russian denial is certain. The lead operator inputs an emergency burst command sequence. Alpha Yoyoyo responds immediately, pivoting Senshadu northeast to establish a better course to align with the nearest satellite. The drone's main antenna glows as it channels maximum power into one final compressed data package directed straight to servers in Kiev. The digital pulse races skyward, carrying the evidence that will shock military analysts worldwide. The Starlink-enabled uplink ensures a complete post-strike analysis can reach Kiev even while Russian electromagnetic jamming and signal loss are affecting it. Without the burst mode failover, the strike data, FLIR footage, and hit confirmation can be lost, and the world would have no proof that a sea drone took out a fighter jet. And with the Kar alligator closing fast, the drone has less than Joshimaus econs to prove this ever happened. At Insiardian, the Kar alligator materializes through the haze, the helicopter's distinctive silhouette standing out against the dark horizon. Alpha Yibayishi Mouse trains at maximum throttle, CR knots, its hull vibrating as it pounds through the waves. Salt spray pours over the sensor mass as it tries to get away. But the alligator crew isn't searching blindly. They've tracked the missile launch signature and plotted interception coordinates with calculated precision. Inside the command van, tension thickens the air. The lead operator switches the drone to terrain echo evasion mode, tapping commands with sweat-slick fingers. Alpha Yoyoyo responds immediately, diving into the troughs between waves and maintaining a deliberate 6-degree yaw offset that mimics natural white cap patterns. the drone's tactical AI activates, implementing unpredictable course changes while maintaining a general heading. The screen shows a zigzagging wake behind the craft, but the evasive pattern isn't enough to break visual contact. At NCRL, the alligator transitions to a hover, its nose angling downward as it stabilizes just a few hundred yards from the drone. The pilot soon sights it and lines up his Senchahalmi auto cannon, and it is all over. The first burst rips through the pre-Jan dawn stillness seconds later. A stream of Senchahalmi rounds walks across the water and slams into Alpha Yo-Yo-Yo. The impact resonates through the drone's hull. The left stabilizer tears away completely, sending a fountain of spray arcing skyward as the drone lurches violently to starboard. Battery warning indicators flash red across the command van monitors. Power reserves plummet. Damage to the starboard cooling vent is causing catastrophic heat buildup. The operators exchange grim glances. Alpha Yibaishi Gonsim, S less than Naumfanjon Utes of life left. Soon, the alligator adjusts its position and delivers a second burst. These rounds puncture the drone amidships, destroying the electrical mast in a shower of sparks and shattered composite. Back in the van, the video feed cuts to static instantly, but the mission's primary objective is already accomplished. The critical data package arrived intact just seconds earlier. At NCRR, the alligator descends for a final attack run. This burst walks methodically up the drone's central spine, rounds penetrating vital system compartments. Alpha Yo-Yo-Yo's hull fractures along its structural seams. It flips once and sinks beneath the waves. Bye for now.